All right, everyone, we're back. Your second episode of the day. Like I said in the first episode, we're back. We're finishing the West today on this Monday. Second episode. Here is the Los Angeles Chargers. Let's hear Raiders. Wow, I was talking about the Raiders just now. All right, the Chargers. Last year, the Chargers went 5-12. Brennan Staley was the coach. He got fired December 15th. Um, Tom Telesco. Um, was fired as well, their GM. So a whole new crew is in. All right, so first a general manager, they hired Baltimore Ravens director of player personnel, um, Joe Hord Horitz. Um, he is the new general manager. Before that, he was the Baltimore Ravens director of player personnel. He was with the Ravens organization for years, since 1998. Um, so yeah, he gets hired. He ends up hiring Jim Harbaugh back into the NFL. And yes, obviously Harbaugh brings over some of the usual suspects that he's had um, before to some extent. Um, brings back Greg Roman, who was previously with the Ravens. He was away for a couple years. Um, he brings a lot of his Michigan people, obviously. Uh, hires Mark Trestman back into the NFL as a senior offensive assistant. Uh, he hires Jesse Minter, who was his defensive coordinator at Michigan, comes over with him. Uh, Navarro Bowman comes in as the linebackers coach, a former player of Jim's. So you get where I'm going with this. Um, the Jim Harbaugh brings his connections. He's had them. His staffs brings a lot of his Michigan people with him. Uh, the Chargers, they lost Mike Williams in free agency. They traded away Keenan Allen, new GM. He's clearing things up. It's a new start. There's a lot of familiarity with the GM, him knowing working in the same organization as his brother, John, with the Ravens. So this is supposed to be for the long run. And it might have to be uh, because this team, compared to last year, looks a little lacking. Um, Austin Eckler's gone too. I mentioned Keenan Allen, Mike Williams. Uh yeah. I mean, all right, let's just get to it. They lost those guys in the draft with their first round pick. They picked Joe Alt, the big tackle out of Notre Dame. Second round, they picked Lad McConkey, and they had pretty decent draft after that. Um, Good pick with the all pick. Justin Herbert is still there. That's something they didn't lose. Taylor Heineke by backing him up. At running back, they did make two signings: J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards, two former Ravens. GM came from the Ravens. We're building something here. Maybe Ravens West. Um, at receiver, their most veteran receiver is DJ Chark. After that is Josh Palmer, who's been there for a while. Quentin Johnston going into his second year, and Lad McConkey. Not a lot of pretty things there in the receiving core. They have Will Disley, Hayden Hurst, a tight end. I mean, what can you say about that group? I don't know. The line is probably the strongest part of this team. You got Rashawn Slater on one tackle. You'll have Joe Alt at the other. Um, Well, I believe Joel's starting, but just Pipkins was having a good season. Yeah, Zion Johnson um, at the guard, Jamari Slayer at the guard as well. They did sign Bradley Bozeman, who plays center, former Raven as well. Uh, so he's going to be playing center for them. Uh, so the line is probably going to be the strongest part of this offense. Well, aside for the quarterback, obviously, but he's got nowhere to throw it, or nobody reliable in my eyes to throw it to. Honestly, um, defensively, on the defensive line, they don't really have much there. I'm gonna be honest. I'm not even gonna go over the names. They don't really have much of there. Edge rushers, obviously, they still have Joey Bosa, still have Khalil Mack. They kept those guys. Inside linebacker, Denzel Perryman, um, and Troy Dye. Those two are inside. I also forgot behind Mack and Bosa, you have Bud Dupree, good veteran signing, and then Tuitolopu, who they signed last year. Um, Defensive backfield, obviously, Asante Samuel Jr. still there. Derwin James, but after that, there's nothing. They do have, did sign Christian Fulton, Elijah Molden. Those are the rest of their corners. Not a lot to be desired outside of the big names that I name, Asante Samuel and Derwin James. So this is a team that went 5-12. I do think that they can get a little better, and obviously a little better could be, getting one or two more wins than they did the year before, which would put them at, 2 wins would put them at 7-10. Um, this is also they do have a coach that guys like to respond to, a coach who's been in the NFL. It's not his first gig ever. He can turn it around. Don't know how fast that might happen, honestly, but um, he's gonna do his best. His work is magic, and they could be 500, 8, 9, 9 and 8, something like that. Miss out on the playoffs. This team, he'll find a way. I feel like with this talent. Um, I'm interested to see what Greg Roman could do with Justin Herbert. I don't know that he's coached some talented quarterbacks. This might be the most talented one, in my opinion, that he's coached. I mean, well, he did coach Lamar, so maybe not. Um, I'll eat my words. So Lamar, then Herbert, then Kaepernick. He's coached some guys, but yes. Um, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see just in general how Jim Harbaugh brings this crew together. He's a player's coach, honestly. The videos all over training camp of him like doing the sled with them, doing the weights. Like he's a maniac. That's just who Jim is. But all right, let's go down the schedule. At the Raiders, they'll get that at home. At Carolina, they'll get that. Pittsburgh will probably win. Then Kansas City will probably win. They go into a bye. Denver, I think they split with Denver, so they'll get this one. Then they go to the Cardinals. I think they can win at the Cardinals. I think they can win at the Saints, which is the next game. 3. So right now 5-2. Oh wait, there's a game missing. Oh yeah, because they had a bye week. Sorry, 5-2 going into Cleveland. I think they'll lose at Cleveland. Tennessee's gonna be a tough one. I don't know. This is one of the games that they're gonna have to flip. Um, I'm gonna say they lose this, so they're 5-4. They go to Cincinnati. They'll be 5-5. Oh well, Cincinnati goes to them. The Ravens come to them. They'll be 5-6 after that. I think they can beat Atlanta. So, like I said, I'm high on Atlanta. So those 6-6. Kansas City will lose again, 6-7. The Bucks they can get their win, 7-7. Broncos will split, 7-8. New England will win. They'll be 8-8, and then the Raiders, who this might be up in the air too. They may split. They might win it. If they win it, they'll be 9-8. If they lose it, they'll be 8-9. So I think that's where they'll be. Honestly, they'll improve from last year. It'll be either 8-9 or 9-8 record around there. There's a couple games there that they can flip from what most people think they might lose and flip it to a win. Honestly, in my humble opinion about this team. But yeah, this is a team that you could see something out of because Jim just gets that out of his players. They like playing with him. They enjoy him. He's a player's coach, so we'll see what he can do. But I think they'll improve from last year record wise. But I don't know about the playoffs or anything like that. But they'll look a little better even with the lack of talent. It's just something that Jim can get out of these players. So yeah, that's that. That's your Los Angeles Chargers. Come back to finish out the day with the Kansas City Chiefs. Be on the lookout for that. Peace.